Hello everyone, ockpii here, and I am back from the grave. Today I have a Starbound video for you guys, and today I'll be talking about a small variety of things. We have a couple of mobs, we have some weapons, we have a very nice screenshot, and we have quite a bit more stuff that I'll get into as we go into the video. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get right on this. First segment, I'm going to be talking about the randomly generated mobs. We have two of them for this video, and here they are. We have this weird snail-like creature. So he has like a shell on top of him, and then instead of there just being a little worm, there's an entire body of things. He also has weird antennae on top, and that's kind of interesting. The first thing that comes into mind when I see the color palette is that it kind of looks like it would poison you somehow, just because of the color scheme. And that would be interesting to see what kind of ailments and what kind of debuffs these mobs could actually inflict on you. It doesn't look to be very fast, and I'm pretty sure it can't fit its body inside the shell, so I don't think that would be happening, but who knows? Maybe he's super squishy and, like an octopus, that can fit through gaps the size of its eyes just because it has no bones. That's pretty cool. It looks like it'd be a pretty chill animal as well, so it could just be a peaceful animal, but I'm not too sure on that. Moving on, we have the saw-face creature, and its colors are also pretty cool, but it looks very interesting. It's kind of like an accordion, like you can squish it and it would go melodically dying, I would assume. The thing at the end of the tail could be some sort of scorpion tail that can actually sting you, and the mouth just looks terrifying and like it would saw you. It would be interesting if these animals would actually have intricate and very descriptive animations for attack, because yesterday was the 24th of October 2012. Yesterday, Ty live streamed a bit of gameplay. And now, while I don't usually talk about live streams just because I don't, there's something that I should acknowledge. He live streamed some of the gameplay, and also there's space debris and whatever. But there were these mobs, these scissor-like mobs, that you may have seen if you're perusing around the forums like I am. And they had pretty bland-like animations, like there wasn't a lot going on in terms of what they're actually doing when they were slicing at Ty, which was kind of a letdown, but I am hoping that they do a bit more with these animals. So, like the animations actually have something to do with them. Just as a small side note, I actually dislike gameplay live streams, simply because it's something like just showing bits and bobs of gameplay and not showing something that they actually are trying to showcase. So I actually don't really like when they do that, so I also tend to steer clear from that sort of stuff. Also, something that I would like to point out in terms of just randomly generated mobs that we have seen is that they're all pretty much the same in formula. We haven't seen anything that strays too much from either 4 legs or 2 legs, or just around the same size. We haven't seen like a really just huge rock guy, or we haven't seen like a floating jellyfish. We haven't seen a flying light beam of energy or whatever. These have been pretty strict in terms of formula, so I would like to be seeing some more variety at this point, but I'm totally fine with what they're showing us, and to be honest, I'm not too sure on exactly how much you can expand. Even though their engine is pretty strong and pretty complex, I'm not exactly sure what they would be able to cram into it, especially at this point. I'm not sure if they're just, not showing us the really exciting stuff, but I guess we'll see soon. Today is Friday. After I recorded the video, a new monster was released on Twitter, and it looks kind of cool. It looks like a mixture of a bug and an octopus and a crab and everything, and here it is. We've seen these legs before, and we've seen those octopus arms in the dude with the helmet thingy, so we're starting to see a pattern here. Regardless, it looks really cool. It looks like it would eat babies and then strangle you and then acklay his way out of everything. His antennae are what suggests that he's kind of an insect, also the fact that it looks like a bee head. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot to say. We've covered a few of these elements, so I don't have much to say. It obviously looks like a watery type creature, so that's that. Next up, I'd like to quickly mention this batch of procedurally generated weapons by row. They're all melee weapons, and they have some very interesting variables. Some of them are chainsaw, some of them are to stab people, some of them have laser bits, some are axes, some are glaives, some are sword-ish, and then we have the almighty stick. But yeah, this is the thing, and I'll just let you sit and look at them for a little while. I like the one with the checkered pattern, and as you can see, those two actually match these two with the lasers, which is kind of interesting. Excluding the ones from the second row, they all have this white little bit at the end of the hilt. Now, this could just be an aesthetic thing, or it could be something related to programming and the collider and all that, or it could just be like, what it could be. One thing that some people have mentioned is that it would be cool that weapons would be subtle as well, and I wholeheartedly agree. Like, on Terraria, you had huge weapons that would stupidly stand out and would be really scaled up, or just really weird if they were in a real life context. It would be nice to see like a really small knife or something that you could just stab something quietly with, or just normally sized weapons. And while I'm talking about weapons, let me just breach in a bit into combat. Now, we've seen this animated gif of when we were talking about shields and all that sort of stuff on discussing Starbound number 2, but I am really hopeful, yeah, that this game will have something like Skyward Sword. I say Skyward Sword because I don't play a whole range of games, because I don't have the console or I don't have the computer to run stuff, but I have played Skyward Sword, and if you haven't played that game, I'll quickly explain what the heck I'm on about. So basically, even though it isn't fleshed out to its full potential, in Skyward Sword, you have to somewhat match your attacks to the blanks in your opponent's defense. And it would be really cool, and now let me pick up Ocarina of Time, if this game had something where, like, if you slash a sword while pressing down, you'll do a stab. If you slash a sword while pressing up, you'll do an uppercut. If you do it pressing the opposite side, you do a power slash. Stuff like that. That would be really cool. You'd probably want to run around and just slashing stuff, so like if you were in a jungle, you'd use it as a katana. So you'd hold like the Alt key while you were doing that. And if you hold Alt and then hold the direction while you're slashing, then that would activate the proper move. Meaning, if you slash the sword without pressing Alt, it would just be the same thing a la Terraria. But if you pressed Alt and then the directions that I just mentioned, then it would do those functions. And the same is applicable to shields as well, so you'd be able to defend specific blows at specific times, aimed at specific parts of your body. That would be so cool. Please do that. Interrupt this broadcast for a special message from our field agent.
Hi, recording.
Before going on with actual visual content, I'd like to read you a few lines of Ty's words. This is just as a preamble for some of the things that I'll be talking about in a little bit. So, this is what Ty says. He doesn't do videos on anything until that insane level of detail that they've been applying to everything is realized. And this is also why I kind of don't like just random streams. I just heard that he did a random stream just a few minutes ago. Today is the October 26th, by the way. And I don't really appreciate that. Even as a person who makes videos about stuff that happens, that is not something that I like to talk about and even watch, because I just feel that it's way too random. But I'm sure that they have their reasons, obviously, but I just am not interested by them. He gives a very cool example of how they really pay attention to detail. So every single material in the game gives off its own footstep sounds when walked on or jumped on, which is very cool. And I would like to hear echo in like caves or stuff like that. I would like for the sound to actually tell a bigger story than it does on Terraria. The fact that we have footstep sounds is also a big change from Terraria, just giving that as a comparison term. A large number of objects in the game will make sound, and when someone accesses a chest, it opens in front of them, a la Minecraft, and when they leave the chest, it closes. A lot of objects are interactive, just for the sake of being interactive. See a gong in an avian temple, you can go and bang it. Every block and everything, every animal, every whatever, has a description, and you can examine everything, which we've seen on, for instance, the first discussing Starbound video, with like the little Pokédex thingy. In terms of commuting between planet and ship and stuff like that, he says that by release, we'll be able to beam onto planets, which we've seen, moon, and that's done already, asteroids, that's not done, but it's very easy to do, he says, and ships in flight, which is apparently done already. And he says that there will possibly be more stuff, and also friends' ships, so it's really cool. So in multiplayer, you can just exchange ships. So imagine if your ship is going to crash, or if something is going to happen to it, and you need to get out quickly. A friend could go and pick you up, and you can just save yourselves. Since Ty mentioned ships in flight, someone asked that, is this a possibility for spaceship battles too? And he said that not for release, but he does have an idea on how space battles will work, but just for post-release. I'm imagining it will be something like FTL. Don't get the hype for that game, just as a side note, but I kind of wish it would be something more visual than FTL. FTL is just really But regardless, I don't have any gripe against the game. I haven't even played it, but from what I've seen, it's kind of bland in terms of visual gameplay, I mean. It would be nice if there was some sort of Mode 7-esque type thing involved. If you don't know what Mode 7 is, go watch some videos of Sonic Battle. That's Mode 7. It's basically fake 3D on a Game Boy Advance. Something along that style would be quite interesting, or just something like an isometric type thing, but I'm really looking forward to seeing if this game actually floats off the 2D world. And then, the thing he says, at least on this post, is, I need to do a video of the building system. On that random stream that I happened to catch a glimpse of, he's building stuff with the ray gun thingy that basically hovered blocks around and stuff like that. Apparently that is the way you build stuff in this game, which is, I was kind of surprised when he said that, but yeah. I guess we'll be seeing more of that soon, since he wants to make a video of the building system. As a side note, again, the video that we've been shown, that I've talked about on the last video, that was not traveling from planet to planet. They are still going to release that video, okay? That was just a small sampler of something else that they've been working on. This opens me up to talk about this tiny little screenshot that Ro posted on her Twitter, which is her holding a guitar. Now, if the game didn't have as much detail added into it, I would assume this would be just a vanity item or, at best, a weapon. It's true that this could be a weapon and you could, use super high-pitched frequencies to defeat certain enemies or mess up frequencies or stuff like that, but since you can actually gong the gong or whatever on an avian temple, maybe you could actually use this just to make music or stuff like that. So that would be very interesting, and some people are actually suggesting that we'd have some sort of music composer inside the game, or that you simply have a bit more freedom to click faster or slower than you did on Terraria, because on Terraria you're very strict to that specific rhythm. So that is a thing, yes. Also, in terms of stuff that make this game look like it has a ton of detail added into it, we have this screenshot right here, which represents a small NPC village, I assume, because it has a marketplace. And let me just quickly analyze the place we're in. We're in a snowy place, we have pink mountains, we have a gorgeous sunshine, and the floor seems to be kind of sandish, but it could just be dirt that's covered by the stone. And we have quite a big layer of stone or cobblestone for sidewalks. We have these really awesome goldstone stuff thing stairs, and we also have a house here. The house has an interesting shape, and as you can see, we have a small layer of wood on the roof there. And as you can see on the interior, we have a very interesting architecture and look just in terms of the walls and what's going on. And as you can see on the lower part of the wall, we have nice wooden planks that just wrap around the window there, and all the planks are wrapping sort of around the window, which is very nice. I assume that you can actually maybe open these windows or even smash them if you try opening them wrong or something like that. That would be very cool. Also, we have a bed and we have a chair and a tiny table. It's kind of weird because those two things are on a platform, which is just looks very precarious to me and doesn't look very balanced visually. Then if you go down this floor, we have a rug, we have a very nice table and chairs. The perspective is still messed up because one of the chairs should be facing back to the camera. We have a tiny stool, we have another window that looks quite nice, we have a rug, and I assume that you can actually lift the rugs. Now I'm going to assume that everything is interactable for the sake of it. You can actually pick this bench and throw it at someone. Then we have a door, which actually looks very cool, and we have just random alien people everywhere, basically, apart from Leaf Girl, which is right here. And where is she? She is in a marketplace, which looks very nice. We have flags everywhere, and we have a very interesting construction that we can't really see, but looks very nice. We have a lantern on the column there, and we have a bunch of flags stuck around everywhere, and as you can see, they're sort of semi-transparent. At least these blue ones seem to be showing stuff that's behind them. That could be just me. So, in terms of what's going on in the foreground, we have a bunch of shops. And I love how they all have little, covers on their little stands, and they're all different colors. I think that's really, really cool. It looks really, really, really nice. So firstly, we have this decorative thing that looks very weird. It looks like a tail of a cat. Then we have this crate right here, and we have a clothing shop. So maybe you could talk to this well-dressed avian lady, and you can probably change shirt, or buy a different vanity item, or buy outfits, or stuff like that. That would be nice. So next up, we have a weapon stand. As you can see, we have a battle axe just casually there. And then on the actual table, we have an assortment of knives and a short sword. Maybe those knives are what I was talking about earlier, like really scaled down weapons that look really subtle and cool. Then we have a fruit stand, and that looks simply awesome. I love the look. I love just looking at it and seeing the cool pixel art. So cool. Yeah, but fruit. So I think that it's been confirmed that there won't be hunger in this game, but maybe you can actually drink or eat specific things to get rid of debuffs. So that's real life, basically. You have a debuff of food poisoning. You can't eat certain things. Yeah, it's being sick or being not healthy or having to eat something or having to drink certain herbs in a tea to be better of stuff and blah, 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 blah. You get the point. Something interesting about this weird structure is that we have this really cool decoration on the wooden planks as well. Yeah. One thing I'd like to quickly mention is that Brandon from The Gamer's Cave did a fantastic interview with Matthew Griffin from Wanderlust Rebirth and Ty from the Starbound. And it's an hour and a half long, but I would recommend you watching the entire thing because it's just really, really great, and you can actually hear Ty speak, which is awesome. And you can have his input on stuff like DLC, Desura release, or Steam release, or Steam Greenlight, even block physics, because at 57 minutes and 40 seconds in, I asked a question about block physics like King Arthur's Gold. So, it's overall a very good interview. I'd like to congratulate Brandon right now for the interview. So, yeah, well done, and make sure to click the screen right now, or the link will be in the description. Make sure to check that out. Just have it play while you're doing something. It's a good 1 hour and a half listening to this. And that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. As you can see, I am no longer sick, so that's why I stopped making videos for a while. I was getting myself better. I am, and here I am, as you can see. I apologize for the delay, but yeah. And thank you all for your support in getting me healthy and stuff. Thanks. Soon, you'll be discussing Cube World number 6, as well as more Castle Story gameplay. I'll try to record that Saturday or something like that. But anyway, you'll be seeing that soon. Also, I am arranging stuff for my 2,000 subscribers special to be something like everyone getting on a King Arthur's Gold server. Maybe 8v8 free capture the flag. I'm still trying to figure out how that would work. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll definitely read all of them, as I always do. On your screen right now, you have my guide of the Castle Story prototype, because a lot of people were having issues with the controls, so make sure to check that out if you're interested. And as I was saying, I will be making more Let's Play-esque videos on Castle Story. And then you have discussing Cube World number 5. I quite like that video, actually. So, in my next video, I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you soon. Bye.